Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that continued pump on the Bitcoin chart. And guys, our altcoins have just been going wild. In fact, if you wanted to check out some of the plays that we had over here at Alpha Commission, guys, the link is in the description of the video below. You got to come over to Alpha Commission. Just check out the type of plays that we have set up in the boosted section. Guys, you can see PayPay, we got a nice 36%. Aether 42%, OP 39%, LAI 41%, Ordi up 55%, Sol 32%, MOG 34%, MDT 29%, ETH 16% on a long, 12% on a short, and AVAX capped there at 20% last I checked. Guys, the Alpha Fam is just absolutely killing it, and absolutely you guys are welcome to stop by. Now, in the last episode, I was suggesting that it was highly likely that we were going to continue into this pump that we called ever since the bottom here at the bottom of our couple of formations that we had, where I was suggesting, let's just go back in time, that we did take out that volatility pivot and we were starting to prove ourselves at that momentum pool. And we did capture that Bollinger Band midline, broke out of this diagonal. We were reclaiming this old support on this big ol' megalithic macro pattern, which could have us getting sent to 80 to 90K BTC, and that the rest is just history. But what you do see here is that we were coming off of a bullish harmonic, Class A bullish divergence at support, and of course using the alpha momentum pool strategy, we were just able to capture that. Now, we did end up tapping that big alpha energy area. That is where we do need to prove ourselves from this origin point. And then, of course, we had the bull zone just so far away. However, if we do take a look at the next setup, you can see that bull zone came down as momentum entered this system. Now we were talking about an upward trajectory as opposed to a downward trajectory that needed to be, proven there. We did prove that with a high off of this shoulder, and in fact, we got a higher low. Now, I was suggesting that we could just take a little bit of a profit there. You can see that we did end up retracing bullishly just back to that Bollinger Band midline. I was saying in the last episode that this was likely to continue, and if we took out that bull zone, you didn't have to be too clever here, right? You just had to take a little bit of a profit, and if we broke back above that bull zone, then we were probably going to continue. Now, if we just want to give an update to that pool, guys, you can see that our volatility pivot is starting to be equal to our price. Now, one thing that you really want to pay attention here is that previously the volatility pivot was underneath us when we took this play to the upside, and now that volatility pivot is starting to be basically at the current price. Let's compare that to the pool where we were just continuing. You can see it was well underneath our price when we drew this pool. So what does that suggest? It just suggests that momentum may be slowing a bit. Now I'm on the 16-hour here. Just going to jump over to the daily just so that we're on the same time frame as that pool. And you can see, I was wondering why weren't the candles lining up exactly how expected. Okay, I was being thrown off a little bit. But you can see that we did get a little bit of a pullback. Momentum may be slowing. One thing that I want to point out is that we're starting to print this bearish bat pattern, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that we can't pop up all the way even to maybe 71,000. Let's just go ahead and throw some fibs on this chart. And you can see that 71,000 would be that 886. We would be expecting perhaps an 886 rejection, okay? Just like we had a little bit of a 618 rejection right here, right? And we bullishly pushed through it. Do we bullishly push through that 886 rejection and just have a massive megalithic breakout? That is possible, Alpha Fam. So we are going to be just on watch for that. This system is quickly turning very bullish, and your altcoins tend to be joining in this rally, which is a really a great thing after that kind of depressive phase that we've been in. But again, jumping to the current pool, I just want to give you some clear guidance as to what we might expect here, okay? So if we are not able to hold that pivot at 67,320, which by the way, we're currently above, okay? But if we're not able to hold that pivot by the end of the day, we may just check back to our hold momentum, see if we can hold that candle, right, that we just formed somewhere around 66,707-ish. If we're not able to do that, well, the bull zone is right below us, and this could, guys, this could just be a bull retest. It could just be a bull zone retest that then pushes us up to maybe even 69.71K. Okay, and so if we hold that bull zone somewhere around 66,000, $12, of course, these zones shift. These are momentum zones, right? So they shift with our momentum. That's why the price changes every time I make a video. It's not like I'm, having any sleight of hand on you. The momentum changed, right? We had a pullback. We had a massive pump. The momentum changed, and we have to recalculate these things every time we have new candles. But if we do just get that pullback to the bull zone, it would just fill in this fair value gap right here. Okay, there's an unmitigated fair value gap off of this impulse to the upside. We would prove the bull zone as being supported, and that could suggest greater continuation. So we kind of want that retest. It's actually a good thing. Now, if we do lose that bull zone, then what we might see happen is that either we're just going to, which by the way would be a retest of this kind of like order block right here. But if we do fail that, right, we may just end up creating an inverted head and shoulders here, maybe pushing down, trying to see if we add momentum to the downside, and then we may have to retest that big alpha energy. That strength of the move to the upside may get retested, and we may just have to do something like that. That wouldn't be the worst case situation either. Why? Because there's a bunch of unmitigated fair value gaps down here, which if we did mitigate them, it would just be kind of like a this would be just a bullish retest of this zone over here, which is kind of operating on this diagonal. We could just come back down, just prove that as support, and then continue on our merry way, while at the same time creating a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. And then this could be that big pattern, this big accumulation pattern with a higher low, right, off of this higher high that then takes us to a breakout if this isn't our higher low already. So guys, there's multiple ways of looking at this chart in terms of what market makers, the big whales could do just to like impose some shenanigans and just perhaps shake you out. But right now, as long as we're above that volatility pivot, above 67,320, as long as we're above that bull zone, 66,000, and definitely as we're above the hold momentum, 66,707, I would just suggest that we're just continuing to push. Probably we just take a look at our fibs, 69,000 for that 786, 71,000 for that 886. I'm on the logarithmic chart here, guys, if that matters to you. Sometimes fibs are slightly different on logarithmic versus linear, and that does correspond with this overhead resistance that we would expect to come into play, where you can see this kind of wick, right? Kind of wick, right? Maybe we get a little wick here, and then we do the pullback, and that would be perfectly in line with the hop zone of this bearish harmonic. And that bearish harmonic does suggest that we could come all the way back down to the B point, which is around that 59,000, that big alpha energy. So if this bearish harmonic does play out, conservatively, we'd probably want to be out of our short by that big alpha energy area and just take our profit on any shorting that you may be doing in this area. Because again, guys, I'm not bearish on the system right now. There's a good chance that we just do something like that, okay, and just break out, okay. So, guys, that's your alpha for the day. Just gonna leave it there. Stay safe and happy trading.